Okay, so I don't travel a lot, and I am a U.S. citizen. So this is an interesting and very new topic for me. Let's dive in together, shall we? There are countries that don't need a visa to come in for a limited time, 90 days. This is called an ESTA, Electronic System for Travel Authorization. Currently, 40 countries are able to do this. You can see them below, pause at your leisure, at least some of them. First, they would have to disclose their social media usernames and handles from every platform they have used over the past 5 years. Along with that, they also want to collect telephone numbers used in the last 5 years, email addresses used in the last 10 years, extensive family member details, names, addresses, phone numbers, and places of birth. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if I can remember all those things, much less give them to the border control. But it gets more interesting, right? So they're able to expose 5 years of it, personal or sensitive information, right? Let's say you don't want to reveal that. There's quite a few of us who have private profiles. I have a private profile, and we keep them private for various reasons, right? But here's one of the interesting things. I think it's one thing if the government can take it and investigate it to see, whatever, right? Like I'm iffy about that, but okay, this requires that you set your profile to public so everybody can see it. So that reason that you had your profile private, you no longer are able to do that if you try to come into the United States under the ESTA. This may influence people to maybe not have whatever on their accounts. And yes, please pause at your leisure again. Freedom of speech, yes. Interestingly ironic. Okay, so in case you were wondering even further, they already do this with visas. They started doing this in 2019, back during Trump's first presidency. Okay, since his second presidency, he's ramped it up quite a bit, as you can see. Pause at your leisure. And here is a expanded view on the different types of visas that it covers. So it covers visas and it covers ESTA. Basically, it sounds like any kind of travel you do into the U.S., you are subject to this. It sounds very Kim Jong Un of them, right? Very Vladimir Putin of them, very Xi Jinping of them, right? So I was curious. I was like, do they do these things over there in those countries? At least with Xi Jinping and Putin. I didn't look up Kim Jong Un. One second. Okay, let's start with China. So they don't have a mandatory social media disclosure, right? But they don't need to, right? Because they filter everything over there. The Great Firewall. You can't even get to various web pages because of that. And of course, they can just take your phone and look into it if they want to. Okay, Russia also does not have a mandatory requirement for travelers to reveal their social media, right? But apparently, they do quite a bit of digging on their own. Okay, they don't need your help. And again, they can just take your phone if they want to. They could just take it, whatever. Okay, now in case you were wondering if you feel like I'm being biased, do other countries practice what the U.S. is implementing? Aside from the big bad wolves of the world, right? Okay, so Australia, they have expressed an interest in increased social media data and security vetting, but nothing like what the US is doing right now. Similar with New Zealand. If you are wondering about Canada or the UK, similar to Russia or China or even Australia or New Zealand, they may require of you to give them your device for inspection or review your public social media. And same thing for Israel and other countries too. Basically, a lot of them can just take your device and inspect it, or again, search you publicly, or maybe dig in behind the scenes. But none of them require you to divulge that much information and then make your profiles public in that way. Kind of scary, right? that might deter some people from visiting over here. You might think. Maybe you're okay with that. Maybe you think increased uh, security uh, is worth the loss of our freedom of speech and our privacy. Maybe you think it's okay that we don't have as much business for tourism or a more global sharing of the minds, keeping us competitive with the rest of the world. Maybe you're okay with trade being potentially affected or business being potentially affected by this. I'm not saying there aren't bad people who want to come in here, right? I'm just asking you, why this? You've seen how the other countries do it. Of course, not all of them. I didn't list all of them, but a lot of the prominent ones. But I do wonder why, in this way, what is there to be gained from that exactly? Also, if you were smart and well connected enough, right, and you were wanting ill will of what you were traveling within, you might have ways around that. You would think. Like the hardest thing might be the phone numbers, because like social media, you can make a bunch of them if you wanted. I'm just saying. Emails, same thing. You could make a bunch of them if you were patient. You could wait a span of time, right? Fill up those emails, social media accounts, whatever, with the information you would want, prefer. You know, you know what I'm saying. The reason why I'm saying this is, if that is so easily circumventable, why do that to the average person just trying to visit this country? Though now I feel like I'm just using the whole pro pew pew argument, right? Criminals can use pew pews, so never mind. I'm not gonna get rid of that part though. I want you guys to hear that, so you know I'm trying to be legit when I'm trying to regulate my thoughts and myself to you here. Okay, I'm done. Like and share if you like what I'm saying. Comment if you do or you don't. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you later.